You know, there's 1,000 weight loss products out there, but guess how you really lose weight? You exercise, you eat clean, and you eat less calories than you actually burn. Like the rest of it's just marketing. So my point is that, you know, there isn't one person that came up with that concept that everyone else is ripping from. It's just evolved, and so people have taken there and they've tried their own way and figured out their own little method of how to lose weight. And so, you know, I'm not saying go to Cosmo and rip it, but read it, synthesize it, and see what it means to you, and maybe write your own version. Now, I saw, let me see if I can find this. I think it was Betty maybe asked if we could have someone write the articles for us or write the content for us. Absolutely. And we'll get into that of ways to get, you know, have other people do this type of stuff for us for very inexpensive. But we'll, you know, you don't have to do that. And it really depends on, you know, how much time you have, if you have some sort of budget. And we'll get into that later on in the training. But absolutely. And I'll say one more thing, Justin, before I move on to the next site, that you were talking about, that it's, you know, that it's really powerful if you pick something that you want to learn about and make that the niche that you go into. Actually, I'm lucky enough that my uncle is a multiple-time New York best-selling author, and probably the smartest guy, if not one of the top few smartest people I've ever met in my entire life. And I was having lunch with him last summer, and he's written books on all kinds of different topics. And I said to him, I said, Uncle Charles, that's my uncle, I said, how do you decide what you write on, what your next book's going to be? And he said, Tim, it's real simple. I just find something I really want to learn about that I find very interesting, and then I sort of throw my hat over the fence and say, well, I'm going to write a book about it. And so in order to write a book about it and actually people get a lot of value, I better learn the topic. And so, you know, it may be, your niche may be a topic you already know plenty about, and that's a great. Or you can say, hey, look, I've always wanted to learn about, you know, fashion or whatever it may be, and I'm going to kill two birds with one stone. And as I learn, I'm going to pass along that value in my product, my membership site, whatever it may be. So, you know, magazines.com is a great resource. There's every magazine under the sun you can think of, all these categories. I mean, you got books, newspapers, anything you can think of. So this is a great place to start. But I'm going to show you a couple different sites that I would use and that we do use in combination of really determining exactly what niche we want to do and having a very focused niche and not some broad topic. So we're going to hop over here. This is Amazon.com. It's actually Amazon.com/magazines, I believe. And you'll see over here, once again, tons of categories. I mean, there's some stuff here that I would never even thought of, but if it's on here on Amazon, and if you don't know about Amazon, they're pretty successful, and a lot of people buy a lot of stuff on here, and they're not putting it on there unless there's quite a few people that are interested in purchasing. So it's the same concept of, you know, these are magazines, these are topics. This just gives you more ideas on, you know, how to figure out exactly what niche you want to dive into. And there's some of these magazines that get really specific as well. And one of the things you can do, you know, is go to a local store, bookstore, whatever, pick up a magazine. Go, you know, let's say you're interested in, you know, I don't know, let's say home and garden, like home design or whatever, but you're not sure how specific you want to get. You know, go to a magazine store or a bookstore or whatever and spend an hour and go through and look at some of the articles, because they'll really could inspire you on the exact niche that you want to focus on. But can't stress enough, you know, this is step number one. So it's really important that you pick the proper niche and that it's something that you can see yourself working on for a while to come. So, you know, Amazon.com/magazines. I don't know, Justin, I sort of feel like it's sort of like another version of magazines.com. Maybe you have some insight as to how it might be slightly different and how they could leverage it.
I mean, they're both basically, it's the same concept. Magazines.com, Amazon.com/magazine. Either one, just go check it out. The point here is to just kind of get some ideas for your niche. One thing I will say about Amazon.com, and real quick, I'm just going to see some people in the chat box. They can't hear me very well. Like I mentioned at the very, very beginning, if you're here at the very beginning of the webinar, GoToWebinar does not like me a lot, and one of the problems that we had today was that I have to call in from my phone. So this is as loud as my phone gets. This is as loud as I can get, and I'm actually kind of yelling right now. So if you can't hear me, just turn up your volume a little bit. I apologize, but that's the best that I can do. Now, but one thing I want to say real quick about Amazon.com, their magazine section, is Tim, if you go, you see how there are all those categories on the left side of the screen there. If you just click on one of those categories, like click on art and bride and weddings or whatever, and then you'll see they've got another section, ceremony etiquette. Okay, well, they've got like a subcategories that you can browse on the side. Some of these, it depends on your the category that you select. Some have more subcategories than others, but this will give you an idea. Like if you choose art and photography, then they have sub-niches within that niche: art, art history, crafts, fashion, graphic design. And then when you click on one of those sub-niches, you'll see even more sub-niches once you actually read what these magazines are about. But yeah, I mean, essentially, magazine.com, Amazon.com, it's the same concept either way. It just, you know, the point is to go and just kind of browse. If you don't have a niche, just kind of browse and get some ideas from these sites. And even if you do have a niche, maybe these sites will help you kind of decide, like figure out a sub-niche within that niche that might be more suitable, that might help you reach that exact person that you're trying to reach, that 35-year-old housewife with a bachelor's degree in economics and 3 kids, or whoever it is, you know.
Absolutely. And a great question that was just asked was, what if you want to learn a couple of things passionately? And I love your enthusiasm, but my first tidbit of advice would be, let's pick one first to focus on, and let's create the product for that first. And once you've gone through the process, then you can say, okay, well, we've got this product up and running, and we'll talk you through the rest of the process. Then you can move on to the next niche. But I would be, pick one for now. Let's create that product, and then we'll move on to the next one. Also, I love it. Betty said she threw out a bunch of, she recycled a bunch of Women's Day magazines, but she's going to run out there to the garage and get them. So I love that you're taking action, Betty. That's awesome. So, but yeah, this is a great resource. I actually saved the best for last as far as what I think is the most powerful place to find ideas for your product, which is dummies.com.